This is Colin McGuigan for IFLTV. Delighted to be joined by Carl Frampton in Nottingham. Carl, Nottingham hasn't been great, the Belfast fighters in recent years. Anto Cacace here to upset the apple cart this weekend.
Yeah, I think so. Anto's a big favourite according to bookies, which surprises me, to be honest. I do fancy him. I think he deserved to be the favourite, but I think the bookies are almost nearly ruling Lee Wood out. Tough fight for both guys. Lee Wood's obviously been out of the ring almost 2 years. Anto's flying at the minute, and I fancy Anto to win the fight.
I spoke to Anto yesterday and I said, what's the key to the resurgence of your career? Because I asked Frank Warren a question yesterday. I said, have you ever seen a fighter come on this big in the later years? Not being rude, but Anto maybe was a little bit lazy at the start of his career, and I think he would say that. What do you think has been the reason for his resurgence?
Well, when he got that shot against Cortina, and he got the money that he was getting off that fight, and Anto, prior to the Cortina fight, I don't know what his biggest payday would have been, but I don't imagine it was something that you're going to be able to retire on. So when he got that fight, he got a taste for it. He's saying that how comfortable his life has become afterwards. He had another big fight at Wembley, and he just... I think, Anto always needed a wee bit of luck in his career. He was the most unlucky fighter on the planet for quite a while. Now, fights falling through and issues with managers and promoters and everything else. But a bit of limelight now he's getting. I know he stays out of it, but it's nice for him to get the attention. He deserves it. But the money, he's like, Anto's fucking literally going from prior to the Cortina fight to having maybe not much, to now 3 fights later he's a fucking millionaire. It's fucking amazing. I'm delighted for him.
I said, you're getting a bit of that Graham McDowell accent as well. Do you know what? You just done it there now. I'm delighted for him.
I'm delighted for him. I didn't say I'm delighted for him. I didn't say that.
You did. Watch it back. Graham McDowell.
Fuck me.
In terms of Anto Cacace, you've said previous he was the hardest puncher you've ever been in with. Do you think that'll be too much for Lee Wood this weekend?
I don't know. I think Lee Wood's tough guy, and takes his shot too. And obviously he has a lot of power, and that's got him out of trouble a lot of times. But I think Anto's boxing brain's going to be a difference here, really. If you look at Lee Wood's last performance, he was being outboxed by Josh Warrington, who is a fighter more so than a boxer. I mean, if you're going on that performance, Lee Wood's performance against Warrington, Anto should box the fucking head of him, I think. But in the same sentence, I don't think it's an easy fight for him. But I think if he just stays switched on from start to finish, Anto should win clear enough.
As a former fighter, how much does the inactivity play into this for Lee Wood? He's been out of the ring since October 23.
I think inactivity does play a part in anyone's career when they've been out for quite a while, but specifically when you're fucking 36 and you've been active, that's going to be hard. And I know Lee a fair bit. I know he's been in the gym. He lives the life. He's not a drinker or anything. Literally, he lives the life of a professional athlete, which a lot of boxers don't. Probably Anto doesn't, but I think it'll be an issue for him. Yeah, I really do. I think at his age and how long he's been out, it's going to be an issue.
Where does the dream kind of stop for Anto? You talk about being 36. I know you kind of knew at that point against Jamel Herring, that's me done. What point does Anto have to think? Do you think he's still got a couple of years left in him? Obviously, this is like a honeymoon period for him.
Yeah, well, so I mean, the difference between me and Anto was I had a load of hard fights on the way up. Anto really hadn't even... I'm trying to think now, like, you wouldn't even say the Warrington fight was a hard fight for him. The Cortina fight wasn't. So I literally got everything punched out of me from the training camps and the tough fights. Anto really hasn't experienced that yet. So I still think there's a few years left in Anto. As long as he keeps winning and making the money, he'll be around as long as he can. And I'm glad to see it. I really am. I'd love to see him come back to Belfast, though. I want to see him fight at home and do something in Belfast.
He said, which I thought was weird yesterday, he said he had the option to bring this back to Belfast, but he would earn more money coming to Nottingham into Lee Wood's backyard, and he felt that he thrived in that atmosphere. Is that weird for you as a former fighter, someone who in Belfast you were adored, you loved selling out the arena in Belfast, but obviously Anto maybe is it different?
I don't know. Maybe it is a bit different, but I think he's right in doing that. It's about money at this stage of your career and security for your family. But yeah, if you're being offered more money to fight, if you're being offered more money to fight someone else in an arena, it's maybe going to be a bit more hostile. I mean, Anto would have sold a lot of tickets in Belfast, but would it have been completely packed out? Maybe not. Possibly, but maybe not. I'm not sure, but I think he's made the right choice. And I don't think he gives a fuck, really. I don't think he cares too much about the atmosphere and what the Nottingham fans are going to be saying and chanting. And once he starts to silence them, then that's when Anto will come on top.
In terms of boxing in its entirety, last weekend we've seen kind of 3 shows back to back to back, which was started off the Times Square show, then CANELO, then Inoue. What did you make of that weekend of boxing on the zone, particularly the first 2?
I mean, it was unbelievable, the fact that there was so many big, the Times Square, CANELO, Inoue. 3 of the, I mean, a lot of the biggest fighters all fighting over a period of a couple of days. Now, apart from the Inoue fight, they didn't live up to the expectation, but that's sometimes what happens in boxing. I mean, same as me and Quigg was meant to be a barnstormer, and it was one of the most boring fights you'll ever see. Maybe not as boring as CANELO SCULL, but it just happens sometimes. But it's amazing that boxing is getting these big fights. We're seeing these massive events happening, and yeah, long may it continue.
I asked Frank yesterday what are the chances of AJ Fury. I want to ask you, what do you think? Tyson Fury's kind of went out into the wilderness now, said he's retired. Do you think there'll be that itch and that desire to come back and fight Anthony Joshua?
I think if he comes back, the only fight is AJ for him, really. So I imagine there's maybe been discussions, or he's kind of hinting a little bit that he's gonna come out of retirement. So if he does come out of retirement, it's for an AJ fight, and that would be it. What would be the point in anything else? And the AJ fight would just be a fight for bragging rights, and obviously a lot of money too.
What do you make of Ben Shalom's comments on Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn trying to edge him out? Do you, from the outset, do you see that? Do you see or is it just the case of the new kid on the block?
I mean, I think it's a case of the new kid on the block. I don't know if they're trying to edge him out. Obviously, they have a bit of a better relationship because they're on the same platform now. Yeah, and they're backing each other as well, but I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to. I wouldn't say they're trying to edge him out. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know.
He said that Chris Eubank Jr. is the biggest star in British boxing. Would you agree with
that? Would I agree with that? He's one of them, certainly. Could be an argument for the biggest one, and just because of, I wouldn't say he's the best, but certainly one of the biggest names, as is Conor Benn, just because of what they've done in their last fights. But he has a point, yeah.
Well, Carl, before I let you go, could you give us a prediction? How does this end on Saturday night?
Anto Cacace, either a comprehensive points decision or late stoppage.
First person I've heard to say this might go the distance. Carl Frampton, appreciate your time as always.